you. You're tuned in to the Skirts Up Show with Samantha and Melissa.
Join our mission to normalize failure, but still uncover the positives at every twist and turn.
Skirts up, but keep your panties on.
That was really cute and funny, and I wish I had a video.
Too bad that wasn't on.
Oh, yeah, I wish I was literally recording. How did you even do it? We couldn't even make it up again.
I could not do that again, even if I tried. What's up, Skirts Up Squad? It is Samantha.
And Melissa.
And I just did a sick-ass move with the microphone.
She did. It looked like it was on purpose. It was like she's
so smooth.
Spinning the microphone
It was like
around.
a Michael Jackson, like Usher type move. Like,
sure.
But with my hands.
Yeah, you could say it was a breakdance move with the microphone.
Love it.
While sitting on your ass.
All right, so I have to tell you guys a funny while I was at the park with the kids. You ready for this?
I'm so ready for this one.
Okay.
I think I know what it is.
So I don't know if a lot of you know how awkward I am in person out in public. Like, I don't know how to talk to people. And so it's really new to me since this podcast. So it's been, I guess almost a year of just walking up to strangers and trying to have a conversation. And we're at the park. There's this mom that's, playing with Nora, and Nora's trying to play with the kid. And so then the mom starts small talking with me, and it comes up of, what do you do? And I was like, well, I have a podcast called Skirts Up with my friend. And she goes, that's so cool. What do you guys talk about? And and so I was like, oh, we talk about like spiritual.
We have since worked on our elevator pitch for the podcast, haven't we?
Particularly me, because I'm awkward as fuck.
No. But it's true, guys. It was hard to kind of, for a while, explain, like, what is our podcast about? So this is Sam trying to do that. Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, spiritual stuff and finding yourself. And she goes, oh, okay, well, what's like a topic you guys have talked about? And so the first thing that comes to my mind is, oh, lucid dreaming. That was really cool. Then she goes, well, what brought up the lucid dreaming? I go, oh, honestly, it's funny that you say that. Because it started when I started deep diving into the evil eye, because I thought that my mother-in-law had put an evil eye curse on me. And she's looking at me and her jaw is just dropped. And I go, oh, don't worry, though. I have an evil eye in my house now.
Okay, keep going. I'm so sorry. It's hilarious.
So then she looks at me and she goes, oh, that's what Jesus is for, and walks away. And I look at Simon wide-eyed, and I was like, what happened? He goes, Samantha.
He's like, let me explain. I saw it coming.
He was like, I was looking, and he's like, no, abort mission. He was like, you can't say things like that to people. Like, you gotta feel them out first. Yeah. Like, no. Yeah. It's like, oh,
but my podcast people love me.
I thought conversation is conversation. I thought that's how you know if you jive with someone. He's like, no. Yeah, you give it a minute, and then you stick in the stuff.
Crazy.
And I was like, I didn't know it was crazy.
It's like a first date, you don't you're like, no, but this is, my favorite part is, yes, you didn't know it was crazy. One, it's not crazy, but it's not, it's on fringe. It's fringe. For sure. Okay. But what my favorite part about the whole thing is how you're like, but don't worry, I have an evil eye now, because you saw her face changing and you're like, whatever could she be thinking? Well, clearly she's worried about me not having an evil eye in my house.
Oh my God. And I'm so awkward that random stuff like that is what comes out of my mouth. So she could have asked me, and this is what I used to do. And Simon was also like, you can't do that. It's not normal. Like, when people would ask me and Simon about, oh, how'd you guys get together? How long have you guys known each other? Give some background. I immediately go, oh, this is my husband, Simon. He grew up in a cult. and he always looks at me and he goes, you can't tell people that. And I'm always like, but why? And he goes, because...
You're like, that's the most interesting part.
Exactly.
You are built for the podcast world.
I'm like, that's how you start a conversation. You give them something interesting. And I was like, and then there's conversation. I was like, without the, like, wow factor, like, my conversation would be staring at them, asking if they like bananas.
Aww. That's so cute. Like, I feel like the part that's cute, I think, is you're like, no, they need a wow factor. I've got to make them entertained.
Maybe that's my flaw.
No, it's sweet. It's thoughtful.
Oh my, yeah. So I've learned not to start off with lucid dreaming because apparently that also is against religion. I have found out. But anywho, so
Hey.
now it is.
We are about normalizing things that are hard to talk about.
And apparently things I didn't know wasn't normal to talk about.
That's fair. I'm learning that Sam, you will never leave a conversation with her unentertained.
I mean,
she gives you the wow.
keep taking away my wow factors and no, there will be no entertainment.
We're not taking them away. I'm not. I'm loving this. Sam might not, or Simon might not be.
Just keep him on his toes.
Yeah, that's right.
What have you been up to? Any fails?
So a little bit, and I wasn't going to share this as a fail, but it's kind of funny that you brought up the evil eye because I just made a plate in pottery, and it was like just a little square, like tchotchke thing, like it will hold rings or something. But I drew like a really cool symbol in the middle of it, and then I had like these rays going out from it, but I didn't like it at all. I was showing it to my friend saying, I think I'm going to throw this away. I don't like it. And she's like, yeah, but no, it has really cool evil eye energy going on with it. Yeah. And then I was like, well, I'm going to throw it away. And she said, no. And she took it and she kept it. So it was a fail and a success, I guess.
So was it finished? Like you
It was
colored it and
finished.
stuff?
It was completely colored and done. And then I thought of you. I was like, well, maybe I should give it to Sam, but I just didn't think it was that pretty. So
Aw.
it's not a Sam gift.
Did you take a picture?
She needs something pretty. I will see if I can find a
Okay.
picture.
I did promise someone that I would give them a shout out.
Ooh.
So we talked about on our last episode, you know, the awkwardness of a colonoscopy. Every time I have to get my blood drawn, well, particularly when I have to get a catheter put in, they will try 13 to 15 times to get a catheter in me.
Are you awake for this?
Yes. And they'll blow all the normal veins that they can get in. They'll blow the tops of my hands on both of them. They'll blow the crease of my arm on both of them. And so then I always have to get a catheter, like really weird on my wrist or like on my arm.
Catheter?
Yes.
You know, a catheter for pee.
Blood catheter.
They're called blood catheters?
There's blood. Yes.
Of course they are. When I think of catheter, I think of what they stick up your not vagina, up your pee-pee.
Why?
Because that's a catheter.
That is a catheter. Oh, interesting.
I don't know. I used to. This is a hilarious miscommunication. I used to babysit, or not babysit. That's the very unfair word because she was in her teens. But I used to help watch and take care of a girl who had spina bifida, and yeah, the catheters.
Oh, fair. Okay, but
So that's
me
what I
working
think
in
of.
medical field, I
Like,
deal a
you're
lot
not
with blood catheters.
Fair.
And okay,
I want to know what comes to mind when the public hears of a catheter.
that is so funny.
Okay.
I love it. Okay, so
Blood
no
catheter.
one can. I mean, multiple times they blow all the veins all up and down my arm. Like I still have bruises from even the blood draw like 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
And
Oh, they were gnarly.
yeah, you saw the
Yeah.
tape bruised me,
Yeah.
the catheter. So this lady comes in. She goes, all right, I got to put the catheter in so that we can inject the anesthesia for the colonoscopy. And I just looked at her and I was like, I need the best person here. And so, of course, when someone says that to you, they're always like, I am the best person and like flex up because I would do the same. And when I worked with animals, I'd be like, no, I got it. And I told her, everyone blows my veins. This is what I look like. Well, where do they usually put it? She asked. And I said, usually in my wrist or my forearm is where they end up having to do it. And so she goes, okay. She got it on the first try on the side of my wrist.
Holy crap.
So her name is Tiffany. Shout out, Tiffany. I told you I would. Skirts
That's
up.
amazing. Oh, I'm so happy for giving a shout out because of her awesomeness.
Yes, Tiffany from Piedmont GI
Ooh.
in Loganville.
Nice. Tiffany, you're the best.
Whoa!
All right.
So
Cool.
what do we have today?
All right, today, so Melissa Walker is, as you know, one of my best friends, and she was like, you guys have to speak to Laura Martinez. Laura is a intuitive
Shamanic practitioner.
And she did not disappoint.
No.
It was an awesome conversation with her.
I know you guys hear me say this all the time, but it was a favorite. And we did point this out in our live show that Lottie will make sense after this episode. Yep, you guys will understand.
This is the original
the-
point where we decided Lottie is all of us.
Yep.
That's so cute.
Yeah, so you'll get to hear how that really came about, and it's really cool. And so here she is.
Give it up for Laura.
Laura, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me, you two. Such an honor to be on today. A little bit about me is I'm a shamanic healer that's been in my bloodline for a long time. Also have a master's of education in clinical mental health. So have that clinical aspect that I put in my private practice, and also have a pretty good background in neuroscience. Before going into private practice, I was a director of a neuroscience treatment center for about 8 years. And so I like to merge those three type of modalities: the shamanism, the clinical mental health, and the neuroscience. And so I have a private practice here in Fort Worth, Texas. Mostly I see people online, like pretty much all over the world, which is such a cool thing, and with the internet. And I also host retreats and workshops, and I always do an international retreat every year, and I always do several local retreats in the year.
What are these retreats?
They're different. I have one actually coming up in November, and it's a shamanic training retreat. So teaching other practitioners how to use shamanic medicine merged with whatever practice that they have. Like I have a mental health therapist that's coming on this trip, and then I've got a doctoral student who's coming, and then a yoga instructor, and then a Pilates instructor. So all looking to merge shamanism in the work that they do. So this one that's coming up is a shamanic training retreat.
Okay. Can you give us just like a real quick rundown, a little bit about shamanism? I did want to ask one specific question. When we were talking to you, like before, we did our little interview and with each other to see if we'd be good match for each other. And one thing that you had said was, I am a shamanic practitioner. And you said something to the effect of like, you don't go call yourself a shaman. So I was wondering if there's a difference there.
Yeah. You want to treat the shamanic medicine with a sense of sacredness and not a sense of ego. So when people label themselves as any label, right? That's already an ego statement. It's an identification of what you think you are. And so I just like to say that I work with shamanic medicine instead of saying I'm a shaman, because that comes with a lot of implications in it. And I would never call myself a shaman, but I do work with the medicine. I think that for me,
sense.
it's in my bloodline, and it's something that it's been done for many, many years. And it's just something that you hold sacred. And sometimes people use labels to get some sort of esteem, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, it does actually. I wondered if it had anything to do with maybe like appropriation of some sort, but it sounds like it's been in your bloodline anyway. So it's more about the sacredness.
Oh, yeah.
With that, can you explain to all of us what the shamanic practice looks like for you and how that differs from the traditional therapy?
Sure, yeah. So shamanism is, a lot of people think it's a spirituality or a religion, and it's not really anything like that. It actually is a mechanism of healing. And it's a belief that we have all the resources on our body and in nature to heal ourselves. So my job as the shamanic practitioner is to help the client find their own internal medicine and heal themselves. And so what that might look like is looking at the resources they have on their body. Like, of course, our breath is such a powerful mechanism of healing, and the way that we breathe is going to substantially change the way we live our life. So using the breath, using nature, using a belief system, perception. I also love using ceremony and ritual, which is allowing the client to have some sort of intention in the work that they're doing, right? So I'll give you an example because people love examples.
Thank you.
Sometimes it can sound so abstract if you don't have an example. But
It does. Yeah.
At one time I had a client and who was just totally out of alignment with their purpose and their medicine. So what I believe is I believe that each person has medicine that's unique, almost like a fingerprint. That's how unique our medicine is. But we have this tendency to replicate the same careers, right? And we do them the same way. If you're a mental health therapist, then you're going to go to school and you're going to get an education and then you're going to go get licensure and you're just going to fit in these boxes that have already been formed, right? And so this client in particular was a lawyer, and he had become a lawyer for generations because of what his father did, what his grandfather did. And he was just absolutely miserable. And it wasn't just only the career, it was also the way he was living his life as well. So I really like to take a client and figure out how we can go into alignment with the way they live their life. So that's everything from what are you consuming on TV? What are you eating? What are you drinking? What kind of people are you surrounding yourself with? How can you come back to your authentic self by being in nature, by changing the way you breathe, by changing your morning routine? So really looking at how can you really tap into authenticity inside of you? And so I think a big part of that is really going into alignment with the way that they live their life and how that feels good for them. So another example of that is almost like I had a client that was like, okay, I've been waking up, I've been doing yoga, I've been journaling, and I've been meditating, and I still don't really feel good. And I said, well, do those things feel good to you to do? And she said, no, not really. I said, then why are you doing them? And she said, because that's what what I hear feels good. And I'm like, no, you got to find what feels good to your body. Maybe that's going outside on a walk in the morning, or maybe it's just like having a complete silent home for 5 minutes, like whatever it is, like you have to do what aligns with you. Yeah.
We are really learning that. There are just so many different ways. It's kind of like a kid in school. Not all the kids are going to learn the same, right? And we're like that in our adult lives also. And there are so many things that can be useful and good practices. Maybe they're amazing for one person, maybe they're not amazing for another. But you kind of have to find what works for you. And it sounds like that's what you do with your shamanic practice a lot, is try to find that authentic self.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the surface of it for sure, is getting people into alignment. And then we start doing work like finding spirit guides and spirit animals, taking them on a shamanic journey, which is also the flight of the soul. And so in the shamanic practice, your soul has the ability to leave your body, right? Your soul is inside of your body, but it has the ability to fly and to roam. And so with the shamanic journey, we're really attempting to allow that soul to take flight. And usually what happens in shamanic journeys is things come up that need to be worked with. So whether that's inner child work, or maybe this is the cathartic, beautiful spiritual experience that somebody needed, right? And finding a relative that's passed. And so all kinds of different things can happen during a shamanic journey. But yeah, the surface of it is really getting someone into alignment and starting to live their authentic life. And then we can dig deeper from.
Okay. That's amazing, actually.
So what is the ritual part of that? Is that the ritual part is just finding what feels good to you, or is it like actually a practice of something?
So yeah, rituals can be basically anything. It just really, the whole purpose behind a ritual is to be intentional about it. So so I'll give you an example. I had a client who was having a hard time with a breakup, and the breakup had been about 3 years, and he could not stop thinking about this woman. And in evaluating from a clinical mental health standpoint, the relationship was really toxic, and it wasn't like a type of love story that we see in an 80s movie where you should go after the girl and stand with the radio on top of your head. Like, it wasn't romantic relationship at all. Like, he was an active addiction, and there was all kinds of toxic things that he played a role with being very codependent in that relationship. So, we did a ritual on, okay, how can we let go of that person, and what does this person mean to you? Like, there's some sort of symbol that that person has that has you locked in, because it's not the actual relationship. The actual relationship was no good. And so in a ritual, what we're looking at is, what does she represent to you? And so she, for him, represented romance. His parents had been married for a long time, and he really wanted that long romantic relationship. And he had put all of his hope that this is the one that was going to give him that. And so once we're able to find the symbol of what the person means, the trauma event means, what a situation means, then we can kind of unlock that imagery in the mind, right? And
Okay. Because we do have a problem as humans with wanting to label everything,
Yes.
right?
yeah, like if we've met, in dating, for instance, I have a lot of clients that are dating right now, and they'll go into the date and they'll think, is this my person? Is this my person? And we're really trying to break the symbols of that, because really that person in front of you is a copy of you, right? It's a mirror image of you. And so the point
Okay.
of dating really is to figure out what's wounded inside of me that needs to be healed.
What?
No, that's actually very interesting that you say that, because now it makes me think. So I would think that our listeners as well, you guys can agree with this, that a lot of times when we are in the dating scene, or interviewing for jobs, we go into each date and each interview with, this is it. Like, this is my future, this is my forever. And then once you leave it and you're like, that sucked, I didn't enjoy that at all, then you get depressed and in that like funk of like, man, what did I do wrong? Instead of just living in the moment and being like, this is an experience. We're just filling this out. We're just being curious.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah, exactly.
I was just going to say really quick, sorry, because I know there's the lag. Okay.
She's getting excited.
I'm getting excited because when I moved out here to be with my now husband, one of my very best friends was like, I don't know about that. Like, that just seems like you're throwing a lot of really good things in your life away to go out and live with and be with somebody who you don't know if it's going to be the thing and going to work. Another friend came to me and said, so say you get married, say you don't. He's like, why can't you just go out there and experiment and enjoy each moment of each day with that person while you have it? And I was kind of like, yeah, I can do that. And so it's this mentality sometimes we forget, where we just put so much pressure onto ourselves, I think.
But it has to go right. It has to be perfect. But does it?
Life is not about that, I don't believe anymore.
Right. And the whole point of, living life is to really enjoy it, but we're so busy living in the future of what it needs to be or how we need to live our life. And, a Buddhist practice is, or a Buddhist awareness is that our root of suffering is attachment. And so all of that really is just attachment, attaching to what we think the outcome will be or what we want the outcome to be. So a lot of the practices that we do with rituals is allowing yourself to let go of that, right? Surrender.
Yeah.
Skirts Up Squad, let that sink in for a second, because I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big thing to take in. Stop putting pressure on everything to be perfect the way you think it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Enjoy what you're doing and in the moment.
That's true. I do love that. It reminded me of one of our very first episodes, actually, Laura. We were talking, and I think I said something to Sam like, well, one of the things that they teach in Buddhism is we don't own anything. Like, anything that we have can go away at any given moment. And I think that it's that what you were just talking about is we can get really attached to things. And you also mentioned living in the future. I feel like we get attached to things that haven't even happened. And then we can put a lot of expectations, and expectations can really hurt you if they don't get met.
Whew. Oh my gosh, I'm just thinking of all these times that, like,
You've got us all profound here.
you have us all profound. Like, this is mind-blowing. All these times where I'm like, oh, this is it. This is important. But it's not really important. Like, because it's just experiencing.
Maybe that's the important thing, I guess, is what we're kind of
Yeah.
realizing as we
are here.
Yeah.
Well, it will have already happened.
Everyone's watching and hearing our light bulbs go on.
They are. It's our when this episode comes out, this will obviously already have happened, but we have our first live event going on. And let me just tell you, I keep going back and forth with, oh my gosh, this could be life ruining. There could be crickets. We could just zone out, and this could be like the worst thing ever. Instead, I should stop holding on to what I think the outcome should be and how I think it should play out, and just be like, we're going
It's
to
gonna
be
be fun.
on a stage.
We're
Like,
going to be on a stage.
gonna
We're going
see
to be
what-
honest on a stage.
whatever comes out, comes out.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's good, but if it's bad, we experienced what we were supposed to experience, and we'll learn something.
Could grow from it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Laura. I'm really learning a lot here. So I want to kind of get back to what Sam had asked about what shamanism looks like to you. Maybe you want to just kind of go into like some of the things that you had heard recently from somebody who is a shamanic. Do you mind?
Oh, you are talking about a conversation I had with my father-in-law?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, so you guys know that my husband, for those of you who don't know, grew up in a very untraditional religious community with strict beliefs and strict ways of living. My father-in-law came to visit and asked about the podcast and what we talk about and what do we have going on. And I said, actually, I know it's a little weird and not for everyone. Come to find out,
She's not calling you weird.
No.
She's about our podcast.
Yeah. And so I'm
To be clear.
just
Laura.
to be clear. But people will give you like looks, like when you start talking about things like spirituality and stuff. They're like, oh, okay, what kind of woo-woo stuff are you about to say to me? And he didn't. And he goes, oh, I know a lot of people who believe on the side of shamanic beliefs and practices. He goes, but what does she believe in? Because he said that when you look back into the history of where shamanism began and what shamanism is, which was typically the belief that everything is its own being. The wind is a human. Each natural thing is an actual being that you're trying to understand and learn. He goes, so what does that mean for someone like Laura who says that she practices shamanic beliefs?
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely one of the beliefs of shamanism is that everything is alive, every single thing, and also everything is you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, whenever we do this shamanic training that I'm going to do in November in South Padre Island is teaching people how to become a tree and teaching people how to become animals and teaching people how to, we call it transforming into that energetic state. So, I'm also, like I said, I have a background in neuroscience and learned a lot of physics when I was in school and academia. And it's true that we are energetic states and that we can become any energetic state that we want to become. So for me, when you ask what I believe in, I totally believe in that. I totally believe in everything is energy and that we are a part of that energy. We are living in a collective where, I'm Sam, I'm Melissa, I'm everyone. And you are me. And if we can look at life that way, it makes it a whole lot easier to be in the present moment, right? Or if you're frustrated at someone else, then you need to really analyze, what is it about that person that's inside of me that's frustrating me?
Okay, I think you kind of answered my question because I was going to ask for some of our more literal thinkers. When you say, I am Sam or I am Laura, are we saying like, how am I Laura? I guess it looks like you're saying, let me just make sure I understand. It's because of our perception. Like we're going to see things in you that we need to see inside ourselves, kind of a thing is what you're saying? Or we attracted you to our life because of the energy that we put out?
Or is it more put yourself in their shoes?
Yeah,
All of
there's
those
so many.
things. I
Really?
really mean in a literal sense that we are each other. Like we are pieces of the collective.
Okay.
And we see each other as separate because that's the way that our perception is. And that's the way that we've been kind of set up in the human world. But we are part of the same being that exists, the same energetic state that exists. So no, I virtually mean we are literally each other. And I know that sounds like,
Okay, I actually love that.
And it makes us sound less crazy because when people ask what is Lottie and what is Lottie Don't Lie, we're like, Lottie is us. We are Lottie. Like, we're all Lottie.
Yeah.
And people are like, crickets. Like, y'all are cuckoo.
No, I think that's amazing. I really like how okay, it made me think of how like as women we should be straight in each other's crowns, right? Instead of like putting each other down, let's lift each other. It's so much easier when you look at somebody. I think maybe it's kind of like a mother's love too. Like you can think as a child that came from you. We all came from the same thing. I can look at my beautiful friend Sam here and just be like, wait, she is a part of me. I'm a part of her. If she succeeds, I succeed. Like, I want her good things for her, right? Like, I just think maybe this individuality we have going on, like you said, that's taught to us in our world is sometimes detrimental, maybe.
Well, yeah,
Maybe, as I say.
it can be. And
Help me out here.
I think if we looked at every single human being like that, where we want the best for every single human being. I mean, right.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into political stuff or anything like that because that's totally not my jam, but it is a device that is dividing us, right? Like we're so
true.
divided right now. And that's opposite of what the shaman belief is. It's like we are just, it's two sides of the same bird. We're the same bird. But we're looking at and throwing, rocks at each other. And that's really goes against the principles of we are humanity, even the ugliest parts of humanity, like the stuff that you don't want to admit. That's not me. That could never be me. But it is you because it's a part of the collective and you're a collective.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And just as much as that stuff influences our internal selves, I'm guessing that there's parts of our internal selves that are just influencing the outside just as much.
Oh, yeah. And, I say something to clients because they're like, I don't know why I keep attracting these certain people in my life, and it's what you earlier is, you're calling that in. The universe is just responding to your energy. That's all it is. Like, it's not to you. It's not, because of this or that. It's just it's simply just responding to the energetic state. Everything. You get in a car accident, it's responding to your energetic state. Once you learn that in shamanism, that you are energy and you can change your energy and everything is responding to your energy, things get a lot easier.
Okay.
How does that correlate with the soul and the soul's journey? Because one of the things that we had kind of learned about, or, a potential thought, is that the soul has one potential purpose in that it's going to repeat its same mistakes, it's going to repeat its same habits until it finds that purpose and changes the trajectory. How does that relate to the energy and what that's attracting?
Yeah, so there's a lot of beliefs on your soul picks a spiritual curriculum before it gets here, right? Or a soul journey, like you said, before it arrives, and you kind of have a mission, or you kind of been signed up with the same set of souls. And I really do feel like that's something that is so innate in our soul that we a lot of times don't have a lot of consciousness to it. But I think it relates in the fact that there are things going on in your psyche and your soul and your subconscious mind that obviously you're not even aware of. And so these things really do attract certain. It's just like doing therapy work, right? If you're working with this belief system, and let's say that belief system comes from a young age of I'm not good enough, right? That's in your subconscious, and you're going to continue to attract that lesson every single time. So I think that in our subconscious and our psyche does warehouse a lot of belief systems, and we are coming from that belief system without even the knowledge of it, and we attract a lot of what we bring into our life.
That brings me back to what you were sharing earlier, the example about the lawyer. It sounds like maybe you're saying he had this idea of what he should be because of social expectations. And you kind of helped him figure out. I guess my question for him, for you, about him was, did he stay in lawyer work? Was it about the fact that I felt like you were saying it didn't have to it didn't really matter so much what he was doing, but how he was going about doing it. Did he stay a lawyer and just change his thoughts and ideas around it, or did he actually like have a different life journey?
Oh yeah, went
From
in a
there.
completely different direction. He was
Oh, wow.
Okay.
he actually was actively suicidal for a little while there, and he was able to really get knee deep in the work that we were doing, and he just completely changed his life. I mean, from he was living in Louisiana and he ended up moving from Louisiana, and he is now a ceremonialist. So he actually he does soul journeys in Mexico, and I laugh because it's so different from what he was doing before. He
What?
yeah, he has groups of people who like from the US that come, and we'll take them to Mexico and he'll do ceremonial work with them. And he's gotten really deep into like, learning
Okay.
about plant medicine and taking people through these journeys. It's pretty amazing. So when you ask that, sometimes you can stay in the same career, right? And change your perspective on the career.
Yeah.
But if you really do a deep transformational work of getting to know your internal medicine, a lot of people change their life completely.
Interesting.
So I want to see, let's see where this goes. When you said that everyone is everything and that you can help teach people how to become anything, how to become a tree, how to become an animal, what does it look like? Can you explain to us and walk us through how you would teach someone how to be a tree? Like, what does that look like? And what does someone typically experience from that? And maybe walk us through it?
Sure. So that's a really there's this classic answer where it says depends, right? In that if in there
That's
it's
fair.
like the answer to everything. Well, you know what? It depends. And so you're asking me a question for someone that's imaginative that I don't even know, who I don't know what their barriers are. But
Okay.
I'll take you through like a classic becoming a tree. Basically, what it is if I were to take somebody to feel and become the energy of a tree, it would probably be because they needed to be grounded, because they're probably a little bit spacey, right? And a tree is it's rooted, it's in the ground. And so the tree has chakras like we do, right? So you have the crown chakra, you've got the third eye chakra, the throat chakra. And so usually what I'll do is I'll take somebody out on a walk, and if they're very spacey and they're very like they can't keep their feet on the ground and they can't be grounded, we'll go on a walk and I tell them, okay, I want you to just find a tree that you really like. Have you guys ever gone out in nature and been like, oh, I don't know, I really like that tree. Something about that tree.
Yes.
I do it all the time.
So I would have them go out and they pick a tree. And first thing I'd have them do is just look at the tree, just like observe it. Just what do you like about it? Look at the leaves, look how tall it is, connect with it. So that first one is awareness, right? Awareness of what's in front of you, right? Really looking. It's so rare that we actually look at something instead of we're just so
True observance.
and then I'd have them go up and touch the tree, right? And go feel the energy and close your eyes and see what you're picking up from that tree. It's really amazing. You're bringing me to a woman that I worked with, and she was having a really tough time in her life. She just went through a divorce and kind of lost. And we did the tree, and she went up to the tree and she put her hands on the tree and she said, oh my gosh, I don't know what it is, but I feel like a ton of sadness from this tree. Like I feel like there's a lot of grief here. I don't know why. And I said, okay, stay with that. I was like, just feel it, just be with it. You don't need to change it. You just be with the tree. And she started crying, and it was almost as if the tree was allowing her to release her own grief. Right. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I said, okay, now I want you to connect with each chakra of the tree. And I kind of showed her how to do that. And she was able to bring that energy in. And I said, don't worry, no one's going to look at you. I'm here. If people look at you, that's their own shit. Like, don't just pay attention. So, because we're so self-conscious, right, about what we're doing here. Oh,
Totally.
And so she's doing this energetic exchange, and then she wraps her arms around the tree and she was like, "Oh, I feel like this tree is my friend." And I said, "Can you allow yourself to become like the tree rooted?" And she took off her shoes. Like she just did all this instinctively, took off her shoes, and she was with the tree and she was like, "Oh, I feel so good and so grounded," and completely shifted her energetic state. Yeah.
Wow.
And the marvelous
That is
about
really
this is
beautiful.
after we did the shifting of the energy, because she completely shifted the way that she was feeling just with the tree. And we were walking and there was a plaque it was a huge tree. There was a plaque on the other side of the tree. And it was a tree that had been memorialized for a person that had passed. And there was like a bench there with a little. And
Oh.
she said, "Oh my gosh, do you think the grief I was picking up from the tree was maybe other people coming and, crying over the person that had passed?" I said, "Oh, I bet so." So, energy is everything. We are energy. We can pick up on energy. We can transpose our energy like she did with the tree. And so I hope that answers your question. It's a little bit more complex than
No,
that, but yeah. Yeah.
it does. No, that is perfect. My question to that, though, would be when you're describing the situation, like this is perfect to visualize and understand what's happening. And I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
With the example that you gave us, it kind of feels like to me that maybe when she starts connecting with the tree, it's a mirror of what emotion was actually needing to come out of her. How do you know that you're picking up on the tree's sadness and what the energy of the tree is versus knowing that this is just a mirror of what I needed and that you're just finding that outlet, if that makes sense?
It does. I actually have a thought on it too, but I want to see what Laura says.
Well, I think that's the point of doing the work, is that the things that we see out here are actually the things that are going on in here. And so when she said grief, right, I knew that she was having this internal experience with her own grief because she was able to identify the grief outside of her. So
Gotcha.
I guess the answer to that question is anything that we see out here that we think, "Oh, I bet that's what's happening," we're just connecting to our own emotions around what's going on.
Right.
And in neuroscience, that's actually, we're using something called mirror neurons when we do that. And people with autism don't have a whole lot of mirror neurons, so it's really hard for them to relate to somebody else's emotions.
So does that mean she was drawn to that tree because they were relating, their neurons were relating? Is that kind of what you're saying?
No, I think she was drawn to that tree because she needed that experience with that particular tree.
Okay.
So I was actually kind of thinking in the vein of what Sam's talking about. I didn't think of it until she asked the question, though. When you were talking earlier and you said we are everything, like she is part of the tree is part of her. So like all of the things that you were saying, Sam, and tell me if I'm wrong, Laura.
I see where you're going.
You see where I'm going? I think that she was able to pick up on whatever that tree was putting out because of the energy, because it's also part of her. And then she was finding that same thing inside of her. I think that's all of it.
Oh, wow.
Yes, all. Yes, to all. That's how I see it.
Is she now shamanized? Is that a word?
Am I wrong, Laura, though? Just please do put me down in my place.
The way you two balance each other. Like one of Sam is like concrete and analytical, and then and you're very abstract and like, yes, yes, it's exactly.
Okay.
It's exactly how we are. She's trying to free me up from my boxes, and I'm trying really, really hard. And then sometimes I have to be like, whoa, we need to focus here.
Yeah, she helps me come down and be grounded from my spaciness. So yeah, we're pretty lucky to have each other.
Of each other for sure. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I love this conversation. I swear to God, every fucking conversation we have with everyone, I'm like, this is the best conversation ever.
I know.
It can't get any better. They're the best.
Yeah, I feel that way too. You know what? Laura, maybe your energy and our energy, like we were brought together because we needed you.
Absolutely. I think so. Yeah, I really
Yeah.
I always say yes to doing these sorts of things because I always feel like they're meant to be and they're supposed to happen. So I think so. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, and
you.
it's been a while since I've been able to like really talk about like the details of the work I do because most people want like an outline of what you do, but they're not like asking these like specific questions. So I love talking about this.
Thank you. For me, like you said, I need to understand the actual in-depth details of like what the experience means for me to be able to grasp and picture. So these examples are perfect for me. And
You talked about mirror neurons, but I wanted to know more about, you said you work with clinical mental health, you work with the shamanic practice, and you work with the neuroscience side of things. So I did really kind of have a little bit more of some interest in hearing about the neuroscience side, if you wanted to share.
Sure.
that.
Yeah. Is there any specific thing that you want to know about it?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, like, because I feel like now this is probably my confirmation bias wanting to kick in. Like, I feel like I believe in a lot of energy things, and then I want the neuroscience to back it up and tell me I'm right. um, so I don't know if it's really about that, though. Like, if I really take my confirmation and my own ideas aside or put those aside, what is the neuroscience aspect of it as a standalone, maybe?
Yeah. So that's one of the really things that I love the most about my job is being able to have this spiritual awakening or spiritual experience. And then they're like, what happened? What was that? And I can really tell them what happened
Yeah.
from a neuroscience perspective. So, for instance, with the shamanic journey, which I was talking about earlier with the flight of the soul, my instrument that I love to use is the drum. And the reason I love the drum so much is because when you're hitting the drum over and over again, you're creating an alpha brainwave form in the brain when you first start the drum process. So,
Okay.
what happens with our brain when we hear a frequency, our brain wants to mimic it and match it. So, yeah. So, if we listen to music, our brain is attempting to match the frequency of the music. It's why a song gets stuck in your head, right? And you listen and you sing it all day. It's because your brain really paired with that frequency. And so when you're doing the drumming and there's that alpha brainwave form when they get into alpha is a state of relaxation. So that means that they're starting to get into a meditative state. Now the play that drum, you go into theta brainwave. Theta is high brain creativity. It's whenever we are actually in REM sleep, but it's also whenever artists are creating something, and they're in that highly imaginative creative space. So the theta then their brain starts to match that theta and they go into what I call a trance state, right? And this is not hypnosis, right? This is much different than hypnosis because hypnosis you're kind of suggesting to the client where they need to go. Whereas a trance state, they're going anywhere they want. It's almost like a dream state. That's the best way I can describe it. It's like
that I feel like some of my meditations end up that way. Interesting.
No, that's okay. Yeah, that's perfect because it is it's a very highly meditative state. And so they go into this trance state, and it's almost like a dreamlike state, right? Other people would define this as lucid dreaming, if you've ever heard of that term.
Yeah.
we did an episode on that and it was very enlightening.
Oh yeah, very cool. So you go in and I'm continuing to play the drum and I play the drum until my shamanic ancestors tell me to stop. So sometimes I'll be there for 3 hours, okay, drumming. It just depends on how long I'm
like literally
I'm literally drumming, bump, 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 bump.
Okay.
Yeah. And I guide them in the beginning too. Like we'll do like a guided relaxation and then we'll go on a journey. And that's something else that I'm kind of a vessel in those moments. So I will guide wherever my guides tell me to go. My ancestors, they're all different from one another. I've never done a journey that was exactly the same. And so depends on the energy I'm picking up from the people. Sometimes I'll do 20, 40 people at the same time. And sometimes I'll just do one person. Just depends. And so the neuroscience behind that is that theta brainwave form picks up, right? And then you start to go into that dream state, but it's a very spiritual occurrence where they're seeing imagery, they're experiencing different experiences that need to be had. Like I did a journey last Friday, and there was a woman there who came face to face with a lion, and then the lion went inside of her body, and she said, I
wow.
could feel the power and the strength. And I saw her like kind of moving her body on the mat in a way that was like pretty cathartic. And she was like, oh my gosh. And she was, she was crying because it was such a beautiful spiritual awakening for her. And so we can have all of these different experiences happen. But what happens when we get out of a journey like that is our brain wants to make sense of it, which is totally great, right?
Okay.
And so when you come out of a journey like that, I usually sit with people and ask them what symbols came up, because in shamanism, different symbols can mean different things. Like the energy of the lion is, of course, power. They're the king of the jungle. So it's being able to step into personal power. And so, yeah, I can keep talking about this, but
Wow.
basically you can describe what's happening with the brain while somebody goes into a shamanic journey, and it just validates their experience completely.
That is so
that's the science
interesting.
behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how your brain is responding. So what you were describing, is that the same, this journey, is that the same as the soul flight, sending the flight or the soul on a flight?
Yeah, that's a shamanic journey.
Okay. And then
Can I ask a quick question? I was going to ask, is the flight of the soul a journey that you take to try to find out what your purpose is in life? But then I'm thinking, well, maybe you take it for lots of different things that you're trying to figure out about yourself.
like what you're missing, what you need.
Yeah, it could be anything.
Yeah.
Could be no reason at all. You just want to go on a journey and see what comes up. But
Really?
But
Okay.
how does she know what the lion was for her? Was that like how does she know that the lion was saying she needs to take power, or how do you know that it was saying that? Oh,
I have a really good, okay. When we were doing our lucid dreaming episode, Sam had a dream that we were kind of analyzing. And one of the things in it was snakes. And if you look it up online, everyone says, oh, snakes mean this, 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 and this. And it was all negative connotation.
yeah, I mean someone's sneaking in your life, basically.
Right. But for Sam, snakes don't have that connotation.
Alligators.
Alligators, my bad. Yes.
Alligators.
So she's not scared of them. And so how do you kind of help somebody figure out what something is supposed to mean to them? Like, do you just kind of ask questions, or do you listen to your spirit guides say, hey, maybe a lion for her means this?
Yeah. So I go into a highly intuitive state when I do these things. So absolutely, my guides are always with me, even with every client that I have. My intuition is on point there. But some meaning, like actually a snake in shamanic medicine is actually transmutation, which is transforming into something completely different. So if somebody were to see that symbol of a snake, it would be you're transforming into, like, there's a highly transmuting power going on in your life right now where you're changing.
And there was.
That's true.
There was.
Yeah. And alligator can, in shamanism, sometimes means fear. So I always tell people to go off of what your symbols are. So, for instance, a long time ago, I had a woman journey, and she saw chocolate in a lot of her journeys, and roses. And so if you pair those two things together, they actually mean a maturation into womanhood, right? And she said, yeah, but my grandpa used to always leave me roses and chocolates when I was little. So that symbol for her was like more about her grandfather, not about the classic symbol. So you always want to go off of what your symbols are inside of you. And to answer your question, usually your soul knows what this is about anyways. It just takes a little bit of interpretation and sitting with it. So I believe that the person always has the answers to their symbols. Like no person can tell you what your symbols are. You know what they are. You just need to have somebody help you uncover them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I was kind of thinking while you were talking, so just because everyone is so different, that made me think of your finding your medicine. So it sounded like you were trying to tell us something about that being everyone has their own medicine. Can you describe what that means?
Yeah, I think that each human being, we have something that's really unique that is our purpose and what we're supposed to be doing. And it doesn't only have to be career, it can be having a child and you need to raise this child in a certain way, right? But our medicine, like I said, it's as intricate as your fingertip. And I think that we're supposed to expand the way we do things in different ways, like I could have decided just to be a straight up clinical mental health therapist and I would be fitting into this box that's been replicated where somebody comes and sits on the on the sofa and I just listen to them talk, and they teach you in school when you're in school how to do this, right? You take the words that they say and you just regurgitate it back and you tell them what emotion they're probably experiencing. And that can be very helpful. I'm not trying to discount that because obviously that's a skill that's very helpful. But a lot of people build a career out of that instead of like, what's unique to you and your soul and your heart that you can do that's completely different than anything that's ever been done before.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I like that. It does make sense. I think it's kind of part of the journey of this podcast.
I think and I think it's everything that we talked about, the finding your medicine. It's everything that we talked about in this episode.
Yeah. I was just kind of thinking also along the lines of sometimes thinking there's something that I should be doing and I don't know what it is. And I feel like in the beginning of the podcast journey, Sam was kind of there. And I feel like every episode you seem a little more clear on
the mission.
Like where you're going and what you want to do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting.
Yeah.
It has definitely been an evolving experience, this podcast.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah. Is there anything that you feel like we didn't touch on that you want to hit before we say goodbye?
No, I think you guys did a great job on asking me specifics. It was great. It was really great. I loved being on today. Thank you so much for having me.
You're amazing. We are very curious people.
Yeah, this definitely fed a lot of curiosity and I really felt it. And like I said earlier, when we had our little pre-interview and we're talking, my brain was literally like a CD skipping going, wait, you can't, well, you're not giving me an outline though. Like, I need help. I need like details on what we're talking about. And you're like, no, no. My intuition will tell us what we're talking about. Like, it is fine. And I didn't stress about it. We got off the phone call. I'm like, shit, I don't know how to feel about this. I feel very underprepared. And then today, like we sat down, I go, Melissa, 4 questions. That's all I got. We're going with it. And I wasn't stressed.
That's all we needed. Oh, good. I feel like that means she felt like some calmness and security in talking to you, Laura.
I'm so glad. I love just seeing where we go, and I think those are the conversations.
Yeah.
Being able to like see where we flow. And I feel like you asked a lot of great questions, like specifics.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's great to ask, but they're hard to describe. But at the same time, once you describe them, then people are like, oh, that's what you mean when you say that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was able to experience during this interview and conversation, like actual like energy flow of sorts, because like I actually feel like spent. Like I actually feel like, oh, I was feeling things, I was exploring, being curious, and now I'm like, now I just need time to just sit in it for a minute and just really think about what we did here.
Yeah. I definitely had some feelings too, like just really like strong goosebumpy style.
Yeah.
When you were talking, and I felt like you're speaking some truth.
Yeah.
Are you taking on clients, just for our listeners who may want to end up maybe doing a shamanic journey or something with you? You said you do a lot of Zoom.
Yeah.
calls and stuff.
I'm being very specific on who I take right now because I'm so busy, but I am taking on clients as far as like retreats and workshops, and I have a lot of speaking engagements coming up where I'm starting to speak more out at conferences. And so, yeah, I would love if anybody is interested to follow me on Instagram at DFW Spirituality, all together, like Dallas Fort Worth. So
Okay.
DFW Spirituality. And if you're listening and you want to drop me a message, you can also email me at dfwspiritualitymgmt@gmail.com. And my lady who helps me will get it, but she'll kick it over to me so I can respond. So
Oh, awesome.
I had so much fun this morning. Thank you too so much.
It was beautiful. Thank you so much, Laura. If you liked what you heard today, hit that like button or the subscribe button or whatever button it is that you have.
Just hit it. To continue this conversation with us, join the Skirts Up Show on what is it again?
Well, we have Facebook, we have YouTube,
And Pinterest.
and no, we do not have a Pinterest, but we have Instagram.
You knew what I meant.
Rate and review.
Rate and review.